This is Jens. I'm an engineer here at AGI. I want to show you some of the improvements in the STK and ODTK integration that will be released in STK and ODTK 13. Users of our software that work with both STK and ODTK often need to get identical results from the tool's respective propagators. For example, if you're operating a satellite and you compute a state in ODTK, but now have to push that into Astrogator to plan a maneuver, you really need to end up in exactly the same location after propagating the same satellite forward in STK and ODTK. This has been possible in previous versions, but it could take some effort. With STK and ODTK 13, you can now get identical propagation results between the two tools, and doing so has gotten very easy. To achieve consistency, we added the Astrogator component browser in ODTK. Just like in STK, you can now create your own propagator by duplicating one of the defaults and then adjust the perturbations to match your needs. You can set this to be used by your satellite, and you can also export it and then use it in the other tool. So a propagator created in STK can be used in ODTK and the other way around. So here's the exact same propagator in STK that was created in ODTK. But for two orbits to be identical, you also have to start up with an identical initial state. We've had the initial state tool in both STK and ODTK for years, but those only set the initial position and velocity at some epoch. It does not match parameters like drag and SRP settings. So with STK and ODTK 13, we're introducing a new concept, which is the flight dynamics record. Flight dynamics records contain all the parameters you need to set an initial state and initialize the propagator settings at a specific epoch. So in addition to just position and velocity, in this example we also have drag and SRP settings. And just like propagators, flight dynamics records live in the component browser. You can now export these and then import them in the other tools and use them to set an identical initial state. So give these new features a try. I hope they make your work easier and more accurate.